So another aspect of Bhakti Kids Sangha is there's the podcast, which is a vast area in itself.
Mm, mm.
Um, I'm really passionate about literacy, mainly because I was a bit of a late bloomer actually with my academics, and when it came to learning to read myself, I actually was some considerable age before I could actually learn to read. Just a bit of
Okay.
a slow
Mm,
learner. I had a
mm.
lot of help from my father, and so I'm very passionate about literacy and literacy skills in young children and how important they are because knowledge is freedom and power, right, in this world, especially when we want to raise our
Yeah,
children, right,
yeah,
because of all our scriptures are in books are the
yeah,
basis.
yeah.
Prabhupada taught us that books are the basis, and that's why I called this part books are the basis. So I have built so many children's libraries, Narada. I've actually lost count. I was trying to list them for this
Wow,
interview.
you've
So
built
I
children's libraries.
small ones, Narada, little choti
But it's
libraries
still
in different
amazing, though. It's
temples.
still amazing.
So I just really believe that all children should have access to books, not digital books that are on phones, not on iBooks, actual real books that you hold in your hands. Now, Prabhupada's books are always the ideal, but a very young child is not going to be able to read Prabhupada's books. So I get books that are written by devotees or, I've checked them, they're from a Hindu publisher and I've checked them over, like Adidev Press, like we see in the pictures here. A lot of these books are from Adidev Press,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
make very, very, very beautiful books that are bilingual, that are spiritual and sastrically correct. And so I've made these libraries I'll just give you some examples. In New Gokul, where I am now, there's a library. In New Govardhan, if you look at the center picture, that's New Govardhan there. And
Wow.
there's more than that. These are just a few of the titles. And then we keep adding to them as well. Um, the Australian Hindu Council, the Sydney Sanskrit School, in the top right corner, there are all the teachers from Sydney Sanskrit School. And I
Wow.
made a library there. The Krishna Balaram Community Day School, I think they're on the next slide. If you look at these little children in the center slide, we've donated Nimai's Adventures to them. And actually, Narada, I just want to announce here right now that they are about to receive 20 copies of Mandakini's Panchatattva book we have donated to the school for all the students. So 20 copies of Mandakini Devi Dasi's new book on the Panchatattva, which is a box set of 5 books. So when you think there's 20 of them, is literally any day now about to arrive at their school as a
That's
gift from
amazing.
us.
You're doing such wonderful stuff. I didn't know anything about this kind of library, these library projects before today. So it's amazing to
I,
to hear about what you're doing.
I just think libraries are really, really important, Narada, because not all children have the capacity to have books at home. Now, it might be that their parents won't buy them or can't buy them. Whatever the reason may be, children need literacy skills and they need to be exposed to books, and they should be exposed to books that have about spiritual content as early as possible. Because what happens is they'll read rubbish about Action Man, Spider Man, whatever, and they won't learn about the real heroes. And those formative years, I think the literature that you read is very, very, very important. And that's why I established these libraries, because I did feel, and I'm just being honest, Narada, that when a
Mm,
lot of these
mm.
books came out, there was a lot of resistance from parents for wanting to buy them. They didn't want to spend money. There's lots of emphasis in ISKCON about things being free or by donation. But when you produce a book and you print a book and then you put it on Amazon, there's going to be a cost.
Mm,
And
mm.
I think we have to just kind of accept that. And we're very, very happy to put our hand in our pocket and pay for academic programs and QMON and all of this kind of like exam preparation stuff that we force our children to go through. So why not spend a little Lakshmi on some beautiful spiritual books for our children? Now, I just found that wasn't really happening in the community here. This is just has been my experience. It might not be the same in other countries. It's just how it was here for me. So I went and bought the books and made the library so the children could see them anyway when they were at the temple. So I just bypassed the parents and put the libraries where the children would have access. So we've donated to individual schools like the Krishna Balaram Community Day School, like Sydney Sanskrit School.
Wow.
If the picture in the top right is Sri Mandir, which was the first Hindu temple here in Sydney. I think there's a few more in the middle there, the Sri Ram temple, which is, not an ISKCON center. So we've actually gone further. We've gone outside of ISKCON and established libraries in all different centers. So Sri Ram temple, and you'll see some children here from the Sydney congregation who we donated books to. So we've donated books to individual children, right?
Wow.
With parents who have like either recently come here, or they've, they might be in a single parent family or something like that, where there might only be one income. This young girl here is a Ukrainian girl. So we gave individual books to families, and then we also built libraries in these temples, in these farming communities and schools as well, with an emphasis on places where there might not be the Lakshmi. So you can imagine the community day school in Vrindavan, there's always a need for donations, right? There's always a need for resources. So we have sent them books as well. So books are the basis. And
do you know, ahead, Narada. I was just going to ask, do you know how many children's books you have distributed so far?
I don't, and I wish I knew. And I was going through the pictures, and when you look at all these pictures, how many there are, like, it just goes on and on and on. And I don't even have pictures of all of them, because sometimes you can't take a picture of some children for for various different reasons.
Absolutely.
Or some people, So there's only a certain amount of pictures, but there's been literally, like, I was writing a list, New Gokul, New Govardhan, Australian Hindu Council, Sydney Sanskrit School, Krishna Balaram Community Day School, the Sri Ram Temple, the Sri Mandir. Then we've got 20 more books going to the Krishna Balaram Community Day School. So it's got to be in the hundreds now.
That's amazing. It's very impressive. Very impressive.
I just really feel like those reading skills, they're so important, and also that sowing the seed of Krishna consciousness in their heart early on through books, through picture books, also really important. And a lot of these books contain links to Sanskrit, which is another one of my passions, which I'll come to. A lot of these books are bilingual. They've got the verses in the original languages. That's also really enriching and important as well. So the library project was one of our first projects we were doing before even the podcast started. The library projects started, and then through the podcast, very many kind devotee authors have donated books. So you'll see there's, Janma Leela, those many copies of those were donated. Adidev Press, they donated loads of books to us. Sham Saki from Radhadesh, she's also donated lots of books as well. So I bought many books, but I'm also very grateful to the many people who donated their books for these projects as well. So I didn't do it alone, Narada. Like a lot of things, it was an international teamwork going on from all of these different authors and publishers, basically.
And this is your son over on the left, right? The young chap on the left, with the brown.
Yes, that's my son.
I've seen him.
It's a bit of an old photo now.
Yeah. I've seen him in a few of the photos, but and it's great that he's getting involved and volunteering as well and helping you with different things.
But this is also another reason of why I like doing some of the more hands-on stuff rather than just the virtual online offerings, which is very much like, I put the podcast together, I organize them. With the hands-on stuff, they're very much involved. So they come with me on book distribution. We go out on the street and we distribute Prabhupada's books together. When I come to some of the other services that we do, you'll see that they are very much involved. And that's why I always say I'm a co-founder, because actually this project is a family effort. The whole family is contributing to this project. And, children, Vaishnava children are at the heart of this project. And therefore, my children are at the heart of this project as well. They're a major inspiration for all of this. There he is again in these middle photos giving books to the Pujari at the Sri Ram temple there as well. So I'm going to move